All right, guys. So this is going to be the assembly for the Riz Hawkeye inspired pistol kit. This one was a custom request from a friend of mine, from a customer that wanted it done. So I went ahead and took care of it and decided, this is a really cool kit. So I'll go ahead and offer it. So this one is going to be offered in FDM or resin. This is the FDM version. This one's not fully put together. I didn't glue on like the rear sight and stuff like that, or the little barrel guard. But we're going to be assembling the resin one today, and but resin and the FDM filament versions all assemble the exact same way. So we'll get the parts over here. Here's our slide. Here's our frame. Here's our mag. Our little barrel. Our little left and right grips here. My table's kind of dirty today. About time to retire this pad and get another silicone pad, because the glue comes off the silicone pad good, but after a while it just doesn't want to. But anyways, so here is okay, so here's all the smalls. This is going to be the little rear grip part. This is going to be our mag catch. This is based off of FN 1910, and it is about 10% larger than an FN 1910, which I also have that kit available too. It's loosely based off of that, I should say. But anyway, so here's our trigger. We've got our front and rear sights. And this is our little barrel surround here. Hang on. Sorry if the camera shakes. All right, there we go. This is our little faux slide catch that doesn't actually do anything. This is going to be our slide guide that will go on top of our frame here. And this is a little piece that will go inside our and get screwed into our slide after we put the barrel in. It's very, excuse me, choke on my own tongue there. This is a very easy assembly. We've got a long spring that's trying to run away. We've got a little half spring. We have two M3 6mm set screws. Also, if I jam stuff up in the camera or it's a weird angle, I've moved my camera trying to give you guys a better view so I can set up closer to the camera. But these are not like the heads aren't missing. These are set screws that require Allen wrench. And the Allen they require is a 1.5mm, which the little fold out sets, if you get a metric set, they'll have a 1.5mm, but these are M3 16mm set screws. Then we just have well, it's supposed to be, hang on, let me find the one in here. Okay, there's 4 flat blade screws. These are going to be the grip screws. And then there's 1 Phillips. They're the same length. They all look the same, except there's 1 Phillips, and that will be what goes and holds our little block inside our slide there. So what we can go ahead and do, like I said, this is a quick little assembly. We'll just go ahead and start. We'll put the back together. We want to go ahead and start with our first set screw. And we're working with these 2 holes back here. And what we want to do is, again, for the filament or the resin version, the set screws, the screws will cut their own threads. So what I do is I will put a little half a turn in, turn it 90 degrees. I just want to make sure we're starting it straight into the hole. Okay, that looks really good. So I'm going to go until it just starts protruding right there. I'm going to back up just a hair. And what we're going to do is these 2 pieces here, if I can hold my tongue and mouth correct, these two pieces lock together like this. And the only thing that holds these into the gun is the set screw. If you notice this little lip right here, that lip is going to go into that notch. So what we're going to want to do is pop all that in there, and we can look from the inside and make sure that it went down in there. And again, I've also moved my lighting to try to give y'all a better view, but we can look down in there and see that it's actually setting in that recess. And all we want to do is we want to push that in. And now with it being pushed in, and forgive my shaky hands, I've had coffee and now I'm on a Monster, which I didn't really need, but whatever. We're going to screw this in, and we want to make sure we have that pushed in and that we actually hit the hole that's for this piece right here. And if you feel it bottom out, you don't have it pushed in enough. So that went ahead and went in okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep screwing this in. It's going to intersect with this other side over here. And you'll feel it it'll get like a little tighter. We want to look and make sure that we're hitting that hole. And it looks like we are hitting the hole. So we're just going to screw that in a couple turns. And now what we're having to do is we're going to divide the distance, how far it recesses here to how far it recesses in here. So we're just going to get it in there to where, and it'll recess in about the same distance on both sides. And this doesn't really move much. What this does is this gives this the spring, so that when we put this in with the screw, it's holding our mag catch in. So, and of course, anybody that's familiar with any type of gun or pistol or anything like that will know that there's a reason why this mag release doesn't get used more often, because it's really not user friendly. Like we're pushing the button and you can drop it out. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you push it back to unlock the mag, and that's the way like a FN19, 10 actually works. And it just pops in, it clicks in and does the whole nine thing, whole whatever I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy moly, today's one of those days. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we can screw our grips on. The holes line up, from the grips to these two screws on both sides. And of course, if you put it on the wrong side, it doesn't fit. So, it kind of one of those self-explanatory things. And let me grab my screwdriver and any of y'all that have bought my kits or watched my videos or anything, I absolutely despise flat blade screws. And I'm sorry you guys can't see me really starting these, because I hate flat blade screws. I don't know why it took the world so long to develop different fasteners. I mainly hate them because I slide off of them all the time, and I will stab my paint job or my part. So these are just going to screw in. They're a nice tight fit, and you'll feel them bottom out. You don't want to go crazy or anything and strip out your threads that you just cut. And basically they won't protrude because the holes go all the way through into the mag well, and they don't protrude into the mag well. So they just tighten down. That's how they set in the grip there. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit the display again and make sure that I'm keeping you guys centered. You guys are about 6 inches closer to me, which allows me to set more relaxed up to this table and give you guys a better view most of the time. And I know you guys can't see me starting this screw, but it's nothing fascinating. It's just same thing. You just want to make sure that you've got the screw going straight up and down. Find the hole. I can't find the hole. All right, anyways, so now that they're started, I can pick it up and this also still assembles and disassembles just like an FN 1910 does. The barrel is what locks the whole slide together, and it's a twist lock for the barrel. And if you notice, there's some grooves here and grooves here. And when we assemble, I'm going to take the opportunity right now to show you guys. When we assemble, the barrel goes in and the slide goes on, and we twist the barrel and the barrel locks in there. And then to take the slide back off, we push the slide back a little bit, twist it, and then slide the whole thing apart. What we'll do real quick is let's get some of this glue. And by the way, I normally do this at the beginning of the video, but I forgot. You guys can use like thick super glue, works fine on the resin or the filament printed kits. I use a CA glue. It's basically a slow setting, very slow setting, thick super glue that has an activator that you spray on it and it instantly starts setting. It gives you a little bit more work time. I actually been using this brand for a long time, and I actually now I've been able to start carrying it on my website. So some of y'all have added it on as an add-on when you bought your kits and stuff, but very good stuff. I enjoy it. I've not gotten any bad batches of this stuff over the years. That's why I stuck with it when I found it. Don't pay attention to my boogery bottle here, because, well, I don't take very good care of my glue bottles. But anyways, we need our rear and our front sights. And if you notice on the rear sight, one side's got two little dots and the other one doesn't. The dots are going to go towards the rear of the slide, and the rear sight just sits right down in there just like that. So we're going to take and put a little dot of glue. I'm going to try to put a dot of glue. And it doesn't take much. If you notice, I just put, the little dot right there in the center. We don't want to put too much so that when we put this down in there, it doesn't squish out everywhere. So I'm just going to take this and set that down in there and kind of jiggle it just a bit, and there. That's all we have to do. Now, if y'all aren't using CA glue and it's super glue, just let it set long enough to start curing and hold in there. And I don't know why I told y'all that's the front sight, because that's sitting here for my next kit for me to build. Another problem I have a whole like assembly line here sitting next to my table. I'm trying up different setups here, and one day I will find something that works the best, but not at the moment. Real quick before we put the slide on, we can go ahead and do our little slide lock guy. He just sits right here in that notch on the side of the frame. Oh, let's get this over here. I'm going to put just a little dot. No, I'm not. I'm going to put a little dot on the back of this because I can't reach down in there, and you don't want to get it on your frame. So what you can do is wipe your glue like on the 45 edge of this little thing, so that when you put it in, it will wipe against the sides. You can put it in and just kind of wiggle it a little bit just to get the glue to squish around in there. All right, and that's set. So now the next piece is our slide guide. And before we glue it in, and I actually need to clean some boogers off of this. Let me grab, well, I was going to say my little screwdriver, but I don't see it. So I'm just going to pop those off. Those will only be, hopefully they won't be there when you guys get yours. That's one of the things that I'm supposed to clean off. But if there are little like tabs around the circle here, just pop them off. And that would only be on the resin version, because that's the little support towers for the resin. But this piece gets glued in right here. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is you want to test fit it first and make sure that it gets glued like that. When you push it in, it's going to set pretty much flush. There'll be like a little air gap, and we can take our slide and put our slide on. and make sure it slides past it and it's not sticking up too high. So I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to take my dude here and hold my bottle upside down for a second. Some glue run forward, and yeah. I gotta really start cleaning out these bottles openings before I start shooting these videos, because I have to squeeze the mess out of them. There we go. We're just going to pop that in. And now one reason this is a separate part is because on the FDM version, to print it with all the best lines and the best ways to print it, this has to be removed. And I try to keep my resin and my FDM versions identical. It just makes it easier on assembly videos. It makes it easier on you guys that have bought the filament versions before, and now you're buying the resin versions, which a lot of y'all are, and I very, very, very much appreciate that. I don't know why I just put my glue up. What we're going to do now is we're going to put our little barrel. I just got glue on the side of my slide because I had it on my pinky. We're going to put our little barrel trim surround thingamabob on there. And that is a technical term, thingamabob. So get me some glue down here. And I'm just going to go, I always try to put the glue on the edge of the hole, because when you put the part in, it will smear the glue down inside. And if you try to put it on the part and put it in, it will wipe it up and forward and cause it to go around your edge. Or and you can set this any way you want. Just on the F ends, when this is locked, this is straight up and down, so I just kind of put it straight up and down. Okay, so that's in. Clean all this off my hands real quick. Let me put this back together. The next thing we're going to do real quick before we finish up putting the slide together and all that, we're going to go ahead and put our trigger in. So we're going to need our other little set screw and our little Allen wrench again. And this is just going to, just like the other one we put in, we want to do like a little turn or two, check a couple different directions and make sure we're looking at being 90 degrees to the body at multiple directions. Like that's down a little bit. And the first couple threads, you have some adjustment as you go. And then of course, once you get going in there, you basically don't have any adjustment. So what we're going to do is we want to come in until that is just starting to protrude, just barely protrude in there. To be honest with you guys, this trigger is kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt to put in, but you know, it is what it is. If you notice, there's a spring pocket down in there, and there's a spring pocket on the back of the trigger. So what we want to do is we want to set our trigger in there, and we will, before we try to push that back, we want to take something and push our spring towards that pocket. And I'm not holding my mouth correctly here, so I don't know if y'all can see, I just grabbed that a little bit with the end of my Allen wrench, and now it's sitting in the pocket. And you got to kind of hold this, and you really want to make sure that you hit this hole, that you don't miss it. And if you start screwing it, it gets really tight. And see, the trigger won't move, it's really tight. I need to back up because I did miss the hole. So you just got to kind of jiggle around in there, and you'll end up finding it. And I think I did just find it. So it's one of those hold your tongue just right things. And we're going to screw it in, and you'll feel it hit the other side. And now my dog is barking at squirrels outside the window. All right. And this is another one of these that we just want to recess it in, recess it down in the hole about the same distance. And we want to make sure that our trigger works, which it does. So we're good on that. So now we're going to go back over here to our slide. What we want to do is we want to put a barrel in with our notches facing up. and we may have to just wiggle it just a little bit and hold your tongue just right to get it to go through the barrel opening. There we go. So this little dude here, he's a little bit tricky to get in there. We want to come in through the ejector port with it face up like this. Whoops, wrong direction. Face up like this and go back and turn it to stand up. And some of y'all may try putting that in through the top here. You're not going to succeed. So what we want it just like that, and this screw is going to go right in that little hole right there. And we do this so that we can remove our barrel and stuff later if we want to. All right, and I'm just going to take that and screw that in. And it doesn't get super tight, it just goes in there and stops. So don't just keep screwing and screwing and screwing, because you're just going to cut your threads out of there. So now on this barrel, if y'all just hold it in your hand, test it, it will only turn so far before it starts binding, and it's made that way on purpose. This is as far as this barrel will turn and twist, okay? So what we want to do is we want to keep this twisted up to the side, because we're going to take our frame. Now what we want to do is we want to put this spring into the back, into that hole, and just drop it in there. Now you want to look down through the trigger guard, slide your slide back, and the first time you put this together, the reason we have the barrel twisted is because the grooves are facing to this side, which we need them to do to clear the grooves down in there. And we want to make sure we push our barrel all the way back until it touches. So I'm hoping, let me hit my little display here so I can see what you guys are seeing. If you notice, we want it to go all the way back and contact that, and then just twist it, and that's it. And now it's locked in there. And you can pull this back and untwist and unlock and take the whole thing back out. And that's the same way FN 1910 assembles. Then you can take your little mag, if I can just freaking hold my tongue correctly. Oh, and the one thing I apologize I didn't show you guys is the orange tip, because I actually have them being produced outside, out in the print shop right now. But it will have an orange tip that will fit over the end here for your like for you going to your Comic-Cons and stuff. I just don't have them available at the moment. But and then of course when you're done assembling your kit, painting it and everything, you want to put your orange tip on here, because that's required by at least US law for you guys to do. So anyways, there is the little Riz Hawkeye inspired resin version and the filament version, of course. But yeah, so there's all the little details on it. Everything working the way it should, comes all the way back. Got your spring-loaded trigger, and again, you've got your little mag release down there. And there is your orange tip. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just ask me in the comments or run over to the website and shoot me a message. I'll get back to you guys as quick as I can. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good day. Later.